What is up, guys? Your boy Kid and Kam back with our table talk with the NCAA. A lot of things just went down. Tennessee found what they think is their answer. Gunner Stockton shocked the nation, committing to a bag dropping team, as some claim. We're gonna revisit the Texas situation because we were being kind of just negative about the whole situation. So we're gonna revisit it. Notre Dame's going back to the independents. We're gonna talk about that and how Bama versus Clemson is gonna look in the future. You got two young, talented quarterbacks now. Mm-hmm. So I guess let's start with this Tennessee thing. Do you like the hire? His name is Josh Heupel. If you don't know, anyone out there, his name is Josh Heupel. He was the UCF coach for I think three years.
I just don't. I don't know if long term it's the best route for Tennessee. I think you got to look at how good of a recruiter this guy is. I mean, he's kept UCF decent. Didn't they just lose to Memphis though, or something like that?
They hired a coach. Everybody was clowning them, and I think the same thing. Everybody's clowning them for it. They hired a coach that can't beat Memphis.
I mean, well, when you look at a team like Tennessee, you look at how good can this Tennessee team truly get in this age of college football. And to be honest, I just don't. Until you reach a certain height, which I don't think Tennessee has reached yet, I don't think their fans really look forward to much. Like pretty much how I was as a Georgia fan when the college football playoff first started. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really expect much from Georgia. That's another question for me. Is this guy offensive, or does he have an offense or defensive background? I'm assuming defense.
I have no idea. I've never heard of him until he got the UCF job. Be honest with you, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, let's just hope he's got an offensive background, because obviously that's what's like running college football these days. But Tennessee's got a lot of problems. It starts with them not picking the right quarterback. For some reason, they had Garantano starting the entire season when they had a beast on the bench. Now that Pruitt's gone, that Tennessee McDonald's collab is over. I think that Tennessee can get. I still think there's a lot of room for Tennessee to improve. Let me not say that right here. Tennessee, we were seeing Tennessee completely turn their football program around, and I feel like Pruitt
under Jeremy Pruitt.
Until all of a sudden it's like Pruitt began, lighting that pack. Like he just started moving the team right back to the same old Tennessee. What they went 3-7 last season. So it's like,
yeah, that's what you told me.
And then that was after what they were on a 7-game winning streak. And it was really
it was longer than that, honestly.
It was really, honestly, it was questionable to me. I didn't know. I thought this Tennessee team was like great. You know what I'm saying? We played them. Obviously, it was a blowout. But that's where that recruiting comes into aspect. And I think that's where I'm like going with this. Can he out recruit some of these bigger teams?
That's what I wanted to say. It was Tennessee at this point, they have this whole scandal. I mean, not even a scandal, it's true, about paying players. Obviously, players are leaving, players are transferring, all of that. Mm-hmm. So what you're left with is a bunch of bench players, technically, for Tennessee. Not all the players transferring and all that, but, a lot of them did. A lot of the good players did. And you're left with a not good Tennessee team anymore, I guess you could say, like a not good SEC team. So if I'm the athletic director for Tennessee, I'm hiring a recruiter. I'm hiring someone who is good at recruiting, a head coach. Like I'll hire someone that they can recruit. I don't technically need you to coach at this moment because we're not gonna win anything. But obviously you want to hire a winner. But I want you to be a great recruiter. And as far as I know, I haven't really looked at UCF really ever. I don't know if this guy can recruit. All I know is that he had a great quarterback. I forget his name now. I think it's Dylan Gabriel was his quarterback at UCF. Yeah. Great quarterback. I don't know if he recruited him. If he recruited him, that's what Tennessee needs, is what he can do with a quarterback, obviously. But obviously, I don't watch UCF like that. I don't really pay attention to them like that. So, I'm not going to speak too much on this hire. But, I feel like they could have looked at a little bit more options before. It
kind of reminds me of like Auburn with Brian Harsin. And the problem with Auburn, the Auburn Tigers video, I said, look, man, Brian Harsin has to bring that great recruiting build You know, he's got to be able to recruit better than he's got to be able to recruit on a level as Alabama, as you see Georgia doing, as you see Ohio State and Clemson doing every season. And they hire Brian Harsin. The first thing he does is he loses Gunnar Stockton to Georgia.
Well, okay, but I mean the reason I do like the Brian Harsin hiring for Auburn is he came from a winning program in Boise. Boise's known for winning. They got one of the highest winning percentages out of all colleges. You can fact check that. You can look that up.
This is my point. We've seen Bama get impossible to beat types of good. You know what I'm saying? They've had possibly the two best of their teams. What was it? The 2018 team, and even though they lost, that team was fantastic. It had a great blend of defense with a dominant offense. Even though they got smacked by Clemson, I think, you know, they just never had it close to any humbling. But it's only getting better. Did you see today that Bama landed the #1 recruiting class of all time, beating 2010 Florida? The highest ranked recruiting class of all time. Bama just landed that. So I don't even know how we got on this topic from. Oh yeah, because we're talking about, you know, recruiting. It doesn't give. It's not giving anyone else a chance. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to bring in those talent. Brian Harsin gets there. You need a quarterback for the future because Bo Pix isn't it, and you instantly lose Gunnar Stockton to a team that already has 2 5-star quarterbacks on the roster.
I'm be honest. Even though we probably shouldn't even be talking about Brian Harsin, I'm gonna tell you why it's a good hire. I like the hire. He comes from a winning program, like I said, with Boise State. To start recruiting, you do have to start winning. I know I just said that Tennessee, they need a recruiter. But I also did say that they do need a winner, but mainly recruiting. But with Brian Harsin coming in, Auburn's got talent. You know, they got talent. Whereas Tennessee really doesn't. But you bring in this guy at Auburn, he can win you games. And to start recruiting, you need to win games. You need to show these guys, hey, we can win games. But bring you in and we can win more games. But like as you say, I mean, Bama, you just go over there and they just show the rings.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's where I feel like Auburn is at this current moment. When's the next time you see Auburn actually beating or competing with Bama with the route Bama's moving? Come on.
With the route that Auburn and Bama move all the time, I see Auburn competing with Bama every 3 to 4 years.
We've been said that, but even that was the Gus Malzahn era. So this is now the Brian Harsin era.
I feel like Brian Harsin's a good hire, and Josh Heupel, I'm not gonna say it's a bad hire. We'll see how it pans out.
For Josh Heupel, though, the sad part about it is he's currently thrown into a dumpster fire right now. Okay, and let me say, I'm not trying to say this because Tennessee's a bad team. Like I said, I think Tennessee was a great team. However, they had how many players transfer? They had how many recruits just decommit?
It's easily in the double digits.
It's going to be hard to convince kids to go to this school at this current moment right now.
100%.
This dude was definitely thrown into a dumpster fire. I don't even know why he took the job, to be quite honest with you.
Who has they hired anyone at Vanderbilt? I think they fired Derek Mason.
Yeah, who'd they hire? They hired was it Oklahoma's defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator or something like that?
Bro, they hired a defense coordinator from Oklahoma. I'm like, this is why Vanderbilt is Vanderbilt, bro.
I don't remember. I had to look that up.
I don't know.
I know they hired someone good, actually. It was like a good hire. It was a good hire. That's all I remember. Yeah, I think it was a good hire.
We'll talk about it next time. Anyways, you're talking about Gunnar Stockton a little bit. He went to the bag droppers, as it turns out, on Instagram and Twitter. That's our new name, I guess.
Kirby dropped a quick bag.
Yep, come on, Gunnar Stockton to them dogs.
This one surprised me, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've known who Gunnar Stockton is for a while, and he was committed to South Carolina literally like 2.5 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden he decommits, and then 2 weeks later it's between Georgia and Auburn. And fun fact, Auburn was supposed to get him until like
Auburn
this
was the
morning.
Huge favorite. Yeah,
until this morning. Favorite. And then out of nowhere this morning, it was like, oh, wait a second, Gunnar's going to Georgia, and then all of a sudden he just commits. Dude, incredible.
This is what I want to say.
Incredible. Todd Monken,
like you said, he's a wizard. I don't know what he'd be telling these quarterbacks.
I don't know what he'd be telling these quarterbacks. I don't know.
He's like, bro, look what he's like, look how good I made Stetson Bennett look. And then he actually started playing trash. And then he's like, bro, I threw JT Daniels in there. and we started cooking. He's like, this could be you.
It's gonna be, and it's crazy. It's crazy to me is that I don't feel like all Kirby needed the whole time was an offensive coordinator who can communicate with quarterbacks. That's what's been keeping us from getting these quarterbacks. Now we get a guy like Todd Monken in here, and now we get all these 5-stars wanting to come to Georgia.
James Coley, he was a quarterbacks coach. It's just, I don't know what he was doing, man. I don't know what he was doing.
His play calling was atrocious.
I don't know what he was doing.
It was so bad.
But this is another thing I want to say. Is Gunnar Stockton technically ranked higher than Brock Vandagriff?
I think he will be when by the time his end of his senior year comes, he will be. Because right now I think he's a junior, right? Yes. So
and then because he's 2022 class.
Yep. Which is crazy because I'm like, I feel like we have another Fields and Fromm situation, and some people said it's not.
This is
but
what
I'm
people are saying. People are saying that JT is gonna play next season, obviously.
That's obvious.
And then Brock's gonna come in and play. And then they say Gunnar Stockton will start. All I'm saying is They say Gunnar Stockton's going to start his sophomore year. Which I'm just sitting here like,
that's
if
impossible,
he stays.
So I just off the rip.
He could redshirt.
Come on, bro. You thinking these 5-star quarterbacks want to do that?
That's the thing. Yeah. That's another that's why I said if he even stays.
See, it's like with some teams you can get players to do that, but teams like Georgia, ain't nobody doing that. These guys look. These guys just got done battling in high school, man, and now they're bringing the battle to college.
Who you gonna put? Who would you start? Be honest with me. Let's say.
I was thinking about this earlier.
Let's say Brock Vandagriff. He plays like an average starting quarterback, right? Through his first year. It's his first year. He got them freshman little heebie-jeebies, whatever you want to say. Okay. Gunnar comes in. What do you do? Do you let them battle out in training camp and spring practice?
I mean, to be told, we're not really going to see Brock next season unless JT gets hurt or where it's a blowout, which I'm assuming there should be a lot more blowouts than there were.
Because Brock's coming in next season.
Yeah, Brock is on campus as of right now. That's why I was confused by that question. I was like,
he won't have any started games when Gunnar Stockton comes in.
They're going to have to battle in training camp, true freshman versus true sophomore.
Who would you take?
I was thinking about this earlier.
I was thinking about it. I feel like I have an answer.
I have an answer too. I have an answer too.
Gunnar Stockton.
It's Gunnar Stockton.
Gunnar Stockton. He looks too good, bro.
He looks too good. I was watching his tape today, and it's crazy. He has a background in baseball. Don't get me wrong. Now, and I was, oh my god. Don't get me wrong. I love Brock. And I can't wait to see what Brock does. And it's honestly a little too early to kind of compare these two, but at the same time, it's really not. Dude, Gunnar reminds me of he kind of looks like a Bo Nix build with better accuracy. But obviously he could play better. But he's only 6'1". It doesn't look like he's going to grow anymore. He has a baseball background. So come on, man. He's just athletic. He's built. Look kind of like a runoff of Sam Howell. His ability, his accuracy on the run. I was looking at his highlights. It's incredible. He has a Heisman quarterback. He has a Heisman quarterback prototype. But I think
if you give Gunnar Stockton, Brock Vandagriff, because Brock Vandagriff, he's built, isn't he? He's big.
Yeah, he's big. He's 6'3".
So if you give Gunnar Stockton, Brock Vandagriff's build, we could be talking about a GOAT right here. I'm just kidding.
I think, to be honest with me, I think the future for Georgia is bright. If Georgia doesn't win a national championship in the next 3 seasons, something's up. Because let's
you know what I'm saying,
we got quarterbacks out
there. If Georgia handles this quarterback situation right, our future is bright.
That and Kirby, and the good thing for Kirby, we
always have the pieces.
And good thing for Kirby, listen, if it's a blowout, put JT put Brock in and let him throw the ball. I think
this is what Kirby struggled with, right?
Mm-hmm.
I told you about what it was like a week or two. No, it was a little bit larger than that. It was before we started working out. It was a long time ago. I had Georgia games playing in the background, remember, on my TV. Yeah. And one time I woke up and it was the LSU game from when we got blown out the year before. Mm-hmm. That was when we were number 1. And halftime comes. I think it was the first drive. We put in Justin Fields. And I'm like, to be honest, we should have kept him in. Just let him ride with the offense.
That's everybody's thing.
But they took him in and they ran like a wildcat type thing, and I'm like, we just handled this whole thing. Like, I never realized it was handled so bad until I watched
to be honest, I knew it.
Then I was like,
I knew it was. I'm like, you can't get a top quarterback prospect of all time and expect him to not.
Because I didn't even watch the LSU game.
And expect him to barely get any reps and stay on the team. And then I saw somewhere today that they said Justin Fields didn't want to leave Georgia. His dad wanted him to leave. That's cap. Because I would have been out. I'm like, so you telling me I'm going to be one of the highest rated quarterback you've ever recruited? And you gonna put me on the field just to run Wildcats? What, do I look like RG3 to you?
Run a fake punt?
Do I look like RG3 to you?
Run a fake punt?
Ravens RG3? Come on, man. You better stop. That fake punt was the worst play I've ever. Man, don't even remind me of that.
Horrible. You might as well just went for it.
Just so stupid, bro. They should let him throw it. To be honest, it should have been set up as a throw or something. I don't know, but Kirby, man. But I feel like with Todd Monken, I feel like I want to say I feel like Todd Monken will make the right choice because, obviously he's handled the QB situation great. I mean, I feel like I said, I feel like I'm gonna be. That's what I was gonna get to. Like I said, I feel like he wasn't given his his potential. Like he wasn't given the reins to the quarterback situation. Yeah. Until
Stetson started being trashed. Then Kirby was like, "What should we do?" I feel like it was all Kirby's decision to start Stetson. You know how Kirby be.
Yeah,
bro.
It had. You know how Kirby be. But like I said, I will never forgive whoever was responsible. I'll never forgive them for having Stetson Bennett start against Florida. I just don't care. JT was healed. He was ready. He won that game. There's just no way. The
Florida game was after Bama, wasn't it?
It was like 2-3 weeks after Bama.
He should have been benched. Like we should have benched Stetson midway through the third quarter of Bama.
He should have been benched after he put up 14 points against Kentucky.
Oh my goodness!
Let that sink in.
Anyway,
let that sink in. The best offense Florida's had all decade. All right, the best. Let me say all decade. The best offense Florida has had in like 6 or 7 years. And you put in a quarterback who could put in a quarterback who could only score 14 points against Kentucky.
You put in a quarterback that can't see over his offensive line. Bruh. Hey,
Kirby
not gonna
Smart,
cap
man.
though. Hey, he looked like Lamar Jackson on that run, bruh.
Kirby Smart, man.
Stetson Bennett.
I wanted to say this real quick before we moved on. This Gunner Stockton committing to Georgia kind of puts you like, what's the status of Auburn? Because honestly, this commitment made no sense to me. Much as I'm excited, this commitment makes absolutely no sense.
I'm gonna be honest. I was. People are like, they dropped a bag. And I'm like, bro, the way this is looking, I could see how people, I'll give them a legitimate, I'll give them a pass. I'll give them a free pass for saying we dropped a bag on this. Because this one was sus. Mm-hmm. We were nowhere in the running for it. Nowhere near.
He was choosing between us or Auburn, but it was clearly that he was favored for Auburn.
Everyone had him going to Auburn, and then I wake up and all of a sudden 3 crystal balls are to him, and he's already committed. I was like, what?
It just really didn't make any sense to me because I'm like, you commit to Auburn, you start true freshman, no doubt. You commit to Georgia, you got to battle. I mean, that shows a lot about his character, and it's like, let's make sure he actually signs.
That's what we thought about Justin Fields.
Let's make sure he actually signs.
Go there and compete.
He lost the battle, but obviously we learn now that Kirby Smart goofed. I think Kirby Smart's got to learn how to handle this quarterback situation. I would love to see Gunner, finish his career here. I want to see Gunner get a fair chance at Georgia, before any of these guys, move on.
After JT, look, I'm gonna be honest. My views, I had my pack smoke that one episode. It was
that one video was bad. JT. It was bad.
After JT Daniel, I'm gonna be honest. I want to see Gunner Stockton as a starting quarterback.
Gunner Stockton does have a way better skill set, but I don't know, man. I want to see what Brock's gonna bring to this table. Because Brock's got that deep ball accuracy too, so it's like
we're gonna have to note this, but I mean, obviously, it'll most likely happen. But end of spring practice for Georgia, G Day as we call it, in the University of Georgia. We will know. We will know after spring, because I remember me and you were talking about it. Jake Fromm's freshman year, they went to G-Day, and me and you were like, bro, that Jake Fromm kid, he looked great. He was throwing good balls. Mm-hmm. He came in against Appalachian State, and we weren't even worried about it. We're like, he's pretty good. we're like, yeah, hopefully Jacob Eason's back for Notre Dame. But we're like, he's pretty good. He can handle this, Appalachian State. And then it's like, well, I forget what happened. I think, did Jacob Eason tear his meniscus? Something like that?
Yeah, he was out.
I don't know. Because he was
I know, really, for me,
against Tennessee.
The Jake Fromm game for me was partially Notre Dame. But really, for me, where I was sold on Jake Fromm was when we played Mississippi State. Because I'm telling you, that was the first year Georgia was really on the map. And I was like, man, this Georgia team, come on, man. I don't expect much from them. Bro, we smacked that Mississippi State team so bad. That was Dan Mullen.
That Mississippi State team, that's when I was my favorite game Georgia's ever played. Like, yeah, I will rewatch that game every day.
That's when I was like, okay, we might be good. We might be good at football.
We might got something.
We might have a little something running here.
So we're so off topic. Anyways, Gunnar Stockton coming to Georgia. We love it. Anyways, Texas. We want to revisit this Texas thing. We feel like we just talk trash the whole time, so we want to respect y'all a little bit more.
Dude, that last video.
Steve Sarkisian.
That last video was bad, man. We can't even lie. It was bad. I just don't feel like I don't feel like we gave Texas a fair chance. So I wanted to say let's revisit it, but let's be fair this time, because you said that
we're gonna be fair. All right, look, this is how I'm gonna start off. I want to apologize, right? I'm gonna apologize for what I said.
Right.
This is how I feel. Any coach that is offered the Texas position is going to take it. Texas is a legendary school.
High prestige.
Legendary school.
Yep.
It is hard to win there. You got to battle with Oklahoma. You got to battle with all the bigger schools. You got to battle in recruiting. Steve Sarkisian, I feel like he's a great coach. He's a good hire. Great hire.
Possibly the best offensive coordinator in the nation. Pretty much he is. We saw him turn Alabama completely around. Revolutionize their offense.
He's already on the map with recruiting. He's calling up Quinn Ewers, quarterback, I think that decommitted from Texas and went to Ohio State, right?
He is currently committed to Ohio State, yes.
Yeah, he decommitted from Texas and went to Ohio State. He's already on the phone with him. He's trying to get him to come back to Texas. So I mean, look, if he can land that, Steve Sarkisian might be doing something in Texas.
When we talk about like recruiting, I think you gotta. I'm looking at the fact that, like, you know how much it's so much easier to get recruits to commit to Alabama. You know what I mean? Like I said, they just pulled in like I said earlier, they pulled in the greatest recruiting class of all time this year. So Bama's probably going to win about 2 more championships in the next 4 or 5 years.
Bro, Bama just walked into the room with a bunch of recruits and just said, bro, we just had...
It's like the thing for Bama.
We had 3 Heisman finalists and a wide receiver wanted on our team. What y'all need more?
You know how there's a story where recruits said, like, Nick Saban just walks in with all the national championships and says, you want one of these? You come here. And then they had a wide receiver win Heisman. God, college, we're in trouble.
They basically had 3 finalists.
We're in trouble.
Najee could have been a finalist. He could have been one.
They could have swept the board on finalists. That is crazy, dude. We have every other team has literally no hope because Alabama's just never going to go away. They're never going away. It's just it's impossible as long as Nick Saban's coaching, which is going to be for a long time. But let's get back on this Steve Sarkisian. I don't think he'll be able to pull in the top offensive recruiting classes in the nation anymore, but I think he can get Texas back good at football. They got a new quarterback. Sam Ehlinger's gone. I think he'll be able to get some good recruits in there. You gotta think, this is Texas, man.
I think he was a freshman last year, wasn't he? He's coming into his sophomore year.
What's his name? I forget his name. I just saw him earlier. I forgot his name.
Because I just seen it. He played good against Colorado, though.
He played great. I think he also played in their bowl game. He was looking great. So
that's the Colorado game.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. But I want to I think I like this hire. Don't get me wrong. This hire is great. Like I said, I think they just got the best offensive coordinator in the nation. But
let's see. Thinking about around the nation, this was possibly one of the best hires.
Yeah. But I'm worried about that. And I know, let me tell you right now, in about 2-3 years, Texas is going to have, I think, a phenomenal offense. I think he'll get some good players in there. Come on, it's Texas, right? Texas.
In the next 2 to 3 years, Texas is going to be a consistent top 20 team.
Yeah, at least. The thing that scares me with Texas is the fact that they play Oklahoma every year. And Oklahoma is obviously...
And they got to compete in recruiting with Oklahoma.
They also have to compete, and Lincoln Riley is just that dude. Like I said already, which I probably shouldn't even say this because it'll probably spoil a topic for a later video, but Oklahoma for next season, they're my natty pick, to be honest. And I know that sounds crazy, but they are. Fun fact. I think Steve Sarkisian has to bring in He's got to bring in defense. I feel like I'm saying this. Every time I say his name, I feel like it's wrong. So I'm just going to say Steve S. All right. He's got to be able to recruit some good defensive players. They're in Texas. It's a good place to do it. Offense.
Yeah, you got a lot of hometown
offense.
talent.
He's already been on the phone with people while he was at Bama. I think you got to somehow now convince him to get to Texas, even though going against Nick Saban is nearly impossible. I feel like it'll be easy for him to get wide receivers. Hey, I just coached a wide receiver Heisman. You know where you want to be at. So I feel like
I just made Mac Jones look like this.
I mean,
come
let's
on,
not sleep on Mac. He's been cooking at the.
No, we're not gonna sleep on him.
He's not been cooking at. He's been cooking at the Senior Bowl. Come on now. It's crazy. He can also say that. He's like, look, man, look how quarterbacks look under me. Quarterbacks don't miss when it comes to me. I don't care who the quarterback is. You saw that picture with Mac Jones, Tua, and Jalen. Yeah, with his stomach out. Like, look, man, I got dudes like this as Heisman finalists. Come on, bro. I think this Texas team.
Dudes built like Big Ben.
This Texas team has a bright future ahead of them, but there's a lot Steve S is gonna have to be able to bring in that's gonna make this team actually compete. Their first thing they need to do is they need to be able to get over Oklahoma. But I feel like every team has that problem. Every team has that one team that's like, look,
Auburn,
we got to be able.
Auburn has Bama.
Yeah, Georgia has Bama as well.
Georgia has Florida and Bama.
I mean, not really Florida. But
this year.
But you got to consider, if Georgia has let's say Georgia was undefeated against Bama in the Kirby Smart era, how great would this team be? We have a national championship. We'd have been in the playoffs. That's Kirby's problem. Georgia's problem is Bama. Texas's problem will be Oklahoma.
But the 1 year we've lost to really Florida, all we did was go to Sugar Bowl. I mean, yeah, we lost to Bama too.
But consider we beat Florida. We would have had to play Bama in the SEC championship. You think we were winning that game?
Bro, look. This is the thing. Okay, look, I know we're getting off topic again, but goodness. We were up at halftime against Bama
with Stetson Bennett. Who else can say
that? This team is compared to 2019 LSU, and we were up at halftime against these boys.
With Stetson the Bennett, the mailman.
Stetson the mailman Bennett.
Get your fresh pick six here next play delivery. Jesus, man, that dude. Oh, brother.
Oh my.
Poor Carson.
Anyway, Steve Sarkisian. Mm-hmm. I feel like he is the answer. We did disrespect Texas.
We disrespected him in that last video. Don't even go watch it, please.
Don't go watch. Just watch this one, please.
It's gonna stay up though. So, I like Texas's future. I think they got a future ahead of them. I mean, I said this in the last video. I just feel like we said more disrespectful things than positive. So we're just gonna be positive.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like Texas. I want to see Texas
We like
successful.
Texas in the next.
We need more teams to be good at football, man. I'm tired of seeing the same 4 teams make the playoffs every year. And that reminds me, that's like could possibly bring us to this next topic with Norte Dame. Like
Notre Dame.
Why? Let me get this right. We just saw the best Notre Dame. Notre Dame's made the playoffs how many times in the last 4 or 5 years? They've been a top 5, 6, 7 team, and how many times in the last 5 years? This year though was the best I've seen Notre Dame play. I know they got smacked by Bama, but who didn't, right? I don't like this move by Notre Dame, man. I think they really only got into the playoffs this year because they beat Clemson. They've got to put some tough opponents on their schedule. When I say tough opponents, I mean top 5 teams. And I think staying in the ACC, I like seeing Notre Dame in the ACC. I think it's a perfect fit for them. When I play NCAA 14, them boys are always in the ACC. So I'm like, I just think they're too good to be in the independent, man. They play too many easy teams. That strength of schedule comes into factor. They do schedule some tough opponents, so I give them props for that. But when you play Clemson every year, that's going to cause some noise because if you beat that team, it's almost like punching a ticket to the big game. You got blown out by Clemson in the conference championship and still made the playoffs. Still made it
somehow.
So I think Notre Dame, they need to start signing the papers. Let's get them to the ACC.
I don't know. The thing is that people were saying this was years back. It was like they were scheduling ACC opponents because they needed to play a certain amount of ACC games a year to join the ACC, right?
Okay.
And I don't know what year they were supposed to join. It was either 2020 or 2022. It was one of those. They were supposed to join the ACC, and then all this Corona stuff happened and all that, and they joined it forcefully You almost won the ACC, a Power 5 conference in your only year there.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the thing. All their other sports, I think, are in the ACC. I think basketball is in the ACC. All their other, sports are in the ACC. And that's just like, I'm just wondering, why wouldn't you just put football? You gain nothing from the independents. You don't have a conference championship game that punches you basically a ticket to the, what's it called? Playoffs if you win it.
Mm-hmm.
Almost guaranteed ticket to the playoffs if you win it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only team that's missed out that's won it, I think, is like, a couple teams won it and not made it. But, notably Oklahoma this year. But,
right.
You just lost the conference championship and made it. That's how powerful you were in the ACC. We understand that you can schedule whoever you want in the independents. But, let's just say that you have a better chance of having a better quality schedule if you play in a conference like the ACC. It's just that simple. You have the chance to play North Carolina. Miami looked decent this year. They had a good ranking almost at all times.
Yeah, and they were beating these teams, bro. And it was building up. Like, that's the reason the committee was able to throw them in. When you're beating teams like, you're beating these unknown teams in the bottom of conferences, man. Those aren't the college football playoff committee isn't looking at that. Look what happened to BYU this past season. And don't get me wrong. Notre Dame's made the playoffs plenty of time, but I think obviously, honestly, and then playing better opponents. So I feel like make you better come playoff time. Because has Notre Dame won a playoff game yet? No. Has Oklahoma? No. It's just that simple as easy. These easy conferences, man. It's got to be some teams you got to prepare better for that. But this is one I want to kind of like pass to the Notre Dame fans. Like, I wonder how they feel about this. Are they happy about staying in the independent?
Do they want to join the ACC?
How do you feel about being in the ACC? You think they should be in the ACC? Playing Clemson every year, that'd be great. Especially next year. Next year's going to be a movie.
That's the thing, though. That's another thing. Like, you got to understand how much attraction was brought to Notre Dame whenever they did beat Clemson this year.
Exactly.
A lot of attention was brought Notre Dame's way.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was like, oh, Notre Dame might be dangerous. Oh, they them boys.
I'm telling you, like, this is the best Notre Dame team I've seen. Like, them playing in a conference, they were just smoking all these teams. It was beautiful. Because I'm like, wow. Like, people said, hey, Notre Dame wouldn't survive in a conference. They go to a conference and dominate. Come on. It doesn't get better than that.
They looking like Tom Brady.
Facts. It just doesn't get better than that. I'm just trying to figure out, how do you go back to the independent? Get in a conference, man. The ACC, please. We don't want to see this, independent stuff anymore, man. Get that out of college football, man. Put all those teams in some conferences, please.
Yeah, that's what I do. NCAA 14. You gotta throw them in conferences. Anyways, for our last topic, we want to talk about Bama and Clemson's future.
Mm-hmm.
It's really the future of like how these games would play out. We think, I guess, is what you wanted to go about this. How did you want to go about this?
It's kind of like I saw it talked about earlier, and it's kind of like, what team right now's future are you looking at? I'm talking about, we got what I would say the next two seasons. Because these two teams have probably their quarterbacks for the next two seasons, and they're gonna move on. What team are you taking next season though? That's kind of the question. Because this is Alabama's losing a lot of production on offense.
Okay, next season we're saying they face off. Let's say like we'll give them a couple weeks to warm up. Week 4 they face off, right? We'll say it's a neutral site game. Let's say it's in the middle. It'll be in Atlanta, right? That's in the middle of South Carolina and Bama.
Okay.
Atlanta game. Week 4, for no reason,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Clemson.
Same here.
They are returning. I think it was either 10 out of 11 or 11 out of 11 of their defensive starters. DJ Ugalele has performed in big games, as we've seen against Notre Dame. When Trevor Lawrence was out in the hole, he performed. Yes, they do lose ETN, but like I said, they have an amazing quarterback, and Clemson has, for some reason, who even knows? We're talking about Alabama all the time, but Clemson always has that one wide receiver that they can depend on. He just comes out of nowhere. Justin Ross, he didn't show up until that national championship game, and he made that one-handed catch. Everybody's like, "Whoa, who's this guy?"
He's been quiet since.
He dominated.
I think he was injured this season.
He's injured, bro. Bro, something wrong with his back. But anyways, they're returning a whole bunch of starters. Obviously, Bama's losing a lot of production. They're losing a Heisman winner and a Heisman finalist and a player that just missed out on being a Heisman finalist off their offense. That's just and Jalen Waddle, who probably would have been a Heisman finalist too if he played. I'm just gonna take this Clemson team. They look like a stronger team. Obviously, they're gonna have better chemistry, knowing that they're 10 out of 11 or 11 out of 11 starters on defense coming back. That's huge. Speaking about how we've been talking about Bama's offense is dangerous. If you got at least good defense that knows what they're doing, and you can not stop them, but slow them down a little bit, I feel like Clemson could take this game.
Well, I'm definitely not gonna sleep on Bryce Young. I think he'll connect with Michi III really well next season. They also got some other stars in that team. They lost a lot of offensive linemen this season. They had like 4 guys at the Senior Bowl, just dominating. I think I'm not going to sleep on Bryce Young. I think Alabama's going to get back to it next season. I don't think they'll be as dominant as they have been. I think this will be kind of like the slower year for Bama, and then next season they're going to be right back on top. I'm taking Clemson this game. I feel like Clemson's going to have a dominant defense next season, on top of the fact that they have DJ. I already said earlier, I said, look, man, to be honest, fun fact, my natty pick is Oklahoma, because I think Oklahoma's offense next season is going to be world class. But Clemson, they're going to be dominant, and I mean on both sides of the ball. We've already seen what DJ can do. He lost, but we have already seen what he can do. And they just need that defense to get him off the field a couple times and just let that Clemson offense go to work. It's going to be interesting to see this, though. But don't forget, Bama's got that top recruiting class of all time. That's scary, to be honest. Considering
being honest, right?
Okay.
Technically, DJ Ukulele, he went to South Bend, Notre Dame, right?
Okay.
And he lost as a true freshman.
Okay.
Does this mean that Jake Fromm's a better quarterback? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. Jake Fromm better? Question mark. They both battled Ian Book, right? Or was Ian Book? Did Ian Book? No. When Jake Fromm did it,
Brandon Wimbush.
No, yeah, Wimbush. Oof.
Yeah, man. Anyways, DJ, he's a great quarterback. Mm-hmm. I expect great things from him. Obviously, like you said, I'm not sleeping on Bryce Young, but DJ's just he's proven. Mm-hmm. He's shown that he could be that guy.
Bryce Young.
I think he is that guy.
The next Alabama listen, as a Georgia fan, I'm just happy we don't got to go against Jalen Waddle no more. I don't care about anything else. Jalen Waddle is gone. Jalen Waddle is gone. I'm tired of watching him catch.
Stiff arm him,
I'm tired of watching him catch a 3-yard pass and then just take it for 75 yards for a touchdown. It is the most frustrating thing. Every time he catches the ball, you just pause. You just pause for a moment. You're like, well, please tackle this man. Lord, please let this man trip. Don't happen often.
Man, Jalen Waddle, he stiff armed our corner mid route and got away with it,
bro.
Okay. That was the turning point of the game.
Jalen Waddle.
We were going to lose
every other team in college football. Jalen Waddle is gone. Thank you. Devonta Smith is gone. Man's been hunting our team for years.
I think it was one of the PFF guys. They said that Jalen Waddle was a more dynamic receiver than Devonta Smith, which we've said that. We said that.
Yeah, no lies detected.
But I mean, everybody was like, whoa, what? Whoa.
It's true.
This man just won the Heisman.
It's recency bias, man. What Devonta did, don't get me wrong, is fantastic. This dude was literally unstoppable. I think Devonta's
a great receiver.
I think he is.
But Jalen Waddle's better.
He is better. He's more dynamic. He had an injury and people forgot about him. And to be honest, that's just the sad part. I don't think Bama fans have forgot about him at all, because I know they missed that 3-yard catch for 80-yard touchdown.
I mean, Devonta was doing that too, but I mean, Jalen Waddle could do it better. I feel like he's faster, he's more agile, better route running.
Yeah.
I don't know about catching. I haven't really looked at both of them catching.
I think Devonta's better at getting open, but I think when it comes to catching the ball and you need those yards, Jalen Waddle's doing it for you. He's kind of like a Tyreek Hill, but I feel like he could be honestly better. I feel like he has more potential than Tyreek Hill, to be honest, and that's saying a lot. Just depends on where he goes. I want to see him on a team with a good quarterback. That's dangerous. That is dangerous. Because I feel like a lot of people forget about him. Oh no, please don't ruin this man's career.
Jerry Jeudy got stuck with him.
Dude, like Deshaun Watson requested a trade, and I saw some like mock drafts where I'm like, not mock drafts, but mock trades where I'm like, okay, these would make sense. And one was the Broncos, Drew Lock, and a bunch of picks, and I'm like, Broncos need to offer that right now.
I think it's pretty obvious where Deshaun Watson's going to end up now.
Where?
It's always one team has been on there the whole time, and it's reported now that they're making a huge push for it, and it's the Carolina Panthers. Think about it, bro. Deshaun Watson,
oh my goodness,
back to the Carolinas. Come on, man. He went from Georgia in high school.
Him and Christian McCaffrey could be gross, but that team sucks, bro. That team ain't no better than the Texans. Matter of fact, they're worse. So I got
Joe Brady as an offense coordinator.
I don't care. That team still sucks. I just simply don't care. That team is winning nothing.
My goodness.
I'd rather stay on the Texans, to be honest. Hey, Will Fuller to the Packers? I saw that today.
Question mark. I saw I was taking Kadarius Toney in a mock draft. I wanted to slip my eyes out.
Why?
Anyways, cause man, I just don't, bro. I don't want no short. I don't want a short, fast receiver. I don't.
Do you know how tall Kadarius Toney is? Because you obviously have no idea.
He's not as tall as Rashad Bateman, man.
He is 6 foot tall, and for him to be 6 foot tall,
Rashad Bateman.
You said he's a short receiver. This man's 6 feet tall, and he's fast and quick like that. Have you seen his man at the Reese Senior Bowl? This man's been cooking DBs.
He dropped a wide open pass, man.
Okay. 0 drops at Florida. Come on, stop. Don't sleep on this man. Just because he's from Florida.
Jet sweep Tony, bro. Jet sweep Tony.
I'm just kidding. My God. If they which is crazy, because it's like when you see him at the Senior Bowl, you see how great he is at getting open. And I'm like,
no, he's a really good receiver.
Dan Mullen really used this man as a jet sweep guy? Slants? Come on, dude.
He could have been dangerous.
Look,
I want to clear that up real quick. Kadarius Toney's a great receiver.
Because he really only had one.
I'd rather have Rashad Bateman.
He was dominant last season, but they just didn't use him. I feel like Dan Mullen finally figured out like he has good players on his team, and he figured out how to use them. He wasn't using Pitts last season.
He tried to use that man like Tavon Austin.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, this man can actually run routes and get open, bro. Use him, please. I guess he figured that out. So, congratulations, Florida. You had him for 1 year. He's now gone. Congratulations.
Oh my goodness.
You got smacked by Oklahoma.
That's gonna be it. Oh. Notre Dame fans, let us know how you feel about y'all moving back to the independence. Texas fans, we're sorry. Listen up on this when we try to fix our bias against Texas. And Gunnar Stockton's going to Georgia. We love that. Tennessee hiring Josh Heupel. We still don't know how we're going to feel about that. I'm taking Clemson next year if they play week 4, which obviously they're not. But if scenario, who would y'all pick? I'm picking Clemson. Which you said Clemson, right?
I'm picking Clemson. I think Clemson's a better team next
let us
season.
know. I feel like I'm not going to say obvious answer, but I feel like the right answer would be Clemson. Let us know how y'all feel about that. But anyways, socials are on the screen or in the link in bio.
Subscribe, please. Giveaway at 100 subs. We haven't announced it yet.
Subs?
We'll probably won't announce it until we hit like 80, which is like we'll need 20 subs. So when we hit 80 subs, we'll announce the giveaway. But special. I'm smiling right now.
It's gonna be special.
I'm smiling right now.
Okay. I'm smiling. Peace.
Yeet.